Good morning and welcome to this Beyond the Bench Summit on Law, Justice, and Communities. I'm Nathan Heck, Chief Justice of the Supreme Court of Texas. The Supreme Court of Texas and the Texas Court of Criminal Appeals, the state's two highest courts, have invited you here to discuss public trust in the justice system. Among you are judges, prosecutors, defense lawyers, public officials, community leaders and activists, counselors, religious leaders, educators and students, and the media. Many voices, many perspectives. My hope is that we will spend today listening to and learning from one another for the good of the people of Texas. To begin, I ask my colleague, Justice Jeff Brown, to offer an invocation. Please stand, Justice Brown.
If you'll please bow your heads and join me in prayer. Heavenly Father, we ask your blessings on this gathering. Though we come from different places, different backgrounds, and different points of view, help us to remember that we are all your children, brothers and sisters to each other, each created by you in your image. Remind us that your greatest commandment is that we love one another. Open our hearts and minds and give us understanding, that we may perceive each other's perspective on your world and the interrelations of your people. Dear Lord, you have told us what you require of us, to seek justice, to love mercy, and to walk humbly with you. Each person here today, in his or her own way, and each in response to an individual calling by you, seeks justice. Therefore, Heavenly Father, as fellow seekers of justice, help us share what our journeys have revealed, so that we each leave here better equipped for our common quest. Amen.
The Supreme Court and the Court of Criminal Appeals have never, so far as I know, convened a meeting like this. It's just not what we do. We work in courtrooms. We study the law. We decide cases. But today, we and other judges who have joined us from all over Texas and across the country have left behind courtrooms and chambers, robes and gavels, and ventured beyond the bench. We have come out of a growing concern that tensions in our communities may be eroding trust in the justice system. Those tensions are sharp, outcries shrill, demonstrations violent, disagreements political. They have claimed lives. For judges to go beyond the bench is risky. We have taken that risk because we firmly believe that the courts must always be places where equality before the law is absolutely guaranteed, that courts must be sanctuaries of justice where the promises of the rule of law are made real to everyone, regardless of birth, means, or stature. We want the public we serve to be absolutely sure of this. One thing judges do, we hear all who wish to be heard. And so we have invited many voices to this summit. We want to hear from all of you. We expect disagreement, but we also expect to hear one another with respect. We will do all we can to make sure the third branch better serves the cause of justice in Texas. Here with me from the Supreme Court, along with Justice Jeff Brown, who offered the invocation, are Justice Paul Green, the Senior Justice of our court, Justice Phil Johnson, Justice Eva Guzman, whom we'll talk more about in a minute, and Justice Jeff Boyd, and Justice Jeff Brown I've already introduced. From the Court of Criminal Appeals, our presiding judge, Sharon Keller, who is here, Elsa Akala, and Kevin Yeary. And we welcome all of them here today. Also, we have a number of other judges, as I say, from across the state. I've just to show you their interest in the meeting today, let me ask the judges of Texas who are here to stand, please. Thank you. Sharon Keller was elected to the Court of Criminal Appeals in 1994, the first woman to serve on the court, and elected its presiding judge in 2000. Please join me in welcoming Presiding Judge Keller.
Thank you, Chief Justice Hecht. On behalf of the Court of Criminal Appeals, I welcome you all today to this program. I thank you for being willing to come together to try to address some of the issues that have lately been dividing our communities. These are serious matters and they're not easily solved, but we must try, and I firmly believe that today we will make progress in that regard. I thank Chief Justice Hecht for his vision in putting together this program, and Justice Eva Guzman for her work in making sure that it came to fruition. Our thanks also to Chief Judge Eric Washington and President Mary McQueen of the National Center for State Courts. I am a firm believer in the power of people in this country to effect changes in their communities, but I also know that it takes work and it takes determination, and today I think what we have is people of good faith working together towards a common goal. I look forward to our time together, and again, on behalf of the court, our sincere thanks for your commitment and your engagement in this important work.
The Supreme Court and the Court of Criminal Appeals are grateful to the many people who have contributed to today's meeting, and I'm going to go through a list of thank yous that we need to make here as we begin. First of all, we thank the State Bar of Texas and the National Center for State Courts who have helped with our expenses. We have representatives here from the State Bar, and Mary McQueen, who's president of the National Center, is here from Williamsburg, Virginia. Please welcome Mary McQueen. I first met Dallas County Judge Clay Jenkins 28 years ago when I joined the Supreme Court. He was then a law clerk for Justice Oscar Mauzy. He has been very generous in providing advice and counsel for the meeting. He shares our court's concerns. Judge Jenkins and Dallas County Sheriff Lupe Valdez have provided security, as you have seen around the room this morning. Please, as you encounter them today, thank the deputies for their service here with us. The Supreme Court's Children's Commission has provided the enormous organizational effort for today. They have worked long hours and given their best because they hope our time here will benefit the courts and the people of Texas, that it will help bring meaningful change. Some are out working, but those who are here have done so much. I'll ask them to stand so that you can recognize them. Tina Amberboy, who is the executive director, is in the back. Christy And now wait till the end, because then they'll say, well, you like somebody more than... Christy Taylor, the assistant director, is in the back. Jamie Bernstein called you to order a few minutes ago. Patrick Passmore is here in the back. Jessica Arguijo is in the back. Monica Mahoney, Milbury Rainey is in the back. Dylan Mensch in the back, and Andrea Vicencio. These helped with all of the enormous organizational work that it took us to get us here today. Thank them, please. And then we also owe a special thanks to the Supreme Court staff who helped with this. Nina Hsu, who is our general counsel, Osler McCarthy, who is a staff attorney for public information, Michael Cruz, who is Justice Guzman's executive assistant, and Brad Sonego, who works in the clerk's office. Also, we are indebted to David Slayton, the director of Office of Court Administration, and Mina Ramon, its general counsel, for their contributions to today's event. And finally, my colleague, Justice Eva Guzman, has devoted hundreds of hours and poured heart and soul into this summit. Justice Guzman was first appointed to the Supreme Court in 2009 and elected in 2010 and re-elected last month. She is the first Hispanic woman elected to statewide office in Texas. Before joining the court, she was a district and appellate judge in Houston for many years. She is the Supreme Court's liaison to the Children's Commission and for access to justice issues. She will be leading us along through the day Justice Guzman, thank you. Please come and tell us how we got here and what we hope today will bring.
Good morning. Thank you, Chief Justice Hecht. I want to begin by telling you what an honor it is to be here today with each of you. I want to thank you for attending our Beyond the Bench Summit. Some months ago, I could probably tell you to the hour how long ago it was, but some months ago, Chief Justice Hecht asked if I would help the courts and my colleagues coordinate this summit, and I paused, but only for a brief moment, because first, who can say no to Chief Justice Hecht? But also because that the courts begin a dialogue that deals with important issues, issues that are difficult to talk about, trust in our justice system. It's very important, and it's very important to each of you in this room, I know. I'm the wife of a police officer. I was just telling Chief Art Acevedo, we've been married 30 years, and of course he thought that was impossible because I can't possibly, I'm 35, so do the math. But we celebrated our 30th anniversary this summer. I'm also the daughter of immigrants from Mexico. So I grew up in the inner city, and I understand the challenges presented by poverty and economic difficulties and lack of opportunity. And I've also served at 3 levels of the judiciary. So I've seen our justice system from many perspectives. So when he asked me to work on the summit, I said yes. And it's been a tremendous honor to work with so many outstanding individuals whom the chief thanked. How we got here. Over the past few months, our team, my colleagues, the courts, worked with a very diverse and very passionate planning committee, and we've developed a program where we can all listen and learn from one another. And I want to ask those of you that were on our planning committee to please stand to let us thank you for your service to our state. Thank you very much. As we prepare for the day, I want to be clear that the troubles and the challenges we face in today's society can be difficult to talk about, as I said. One day, coming together for one day is certainly not enough time to restore complete trust in our justice system. But as Paul Coelho once wrote, when we least expect it, life sets us a challenge to test our courage and our willingness to change. At such a moment, there is no point in pretending that nothing has happened or in saying that we are not yet ready. The challenge will not wait. Life does not look back. By confronting these problems and opening a dialogue, we take together, each of us in this room, an important step forward. Thank you again for your willingness to promote positive change and for being here. A great example of a leader who is courageous and unafraid to embrace a challenge is our host, Michael Sorrell, the current president of Paul Quinn College. He is a trailblazer and an inspiration to his students and his communities. He is the 34th president of Paul Quinn College. Under his leadership, the school has become one of the most innovative small colleges in America. Paul Quinn College is rapidly becoming a model for urban higher education by focusing on academic rigor, experiential learning, and entrepreneurship. President Sorrell earned his doctorate of education at the University of Pennsylvania, his JD and MA in public policy from Duke University, and graduated from Oberlin College with a BA in government. Would you please help me welcome President Sorrell this morning?
Good morning. So we have a tradition here at Paul Quinn College. Whenever we have guests, we dub them honorary members of the Quinnite Nation and the Quinnite family. So I'm going to give you a Paul Quinn College welcome. Good morning, Quinnites. Good morning. Now, what you don't know is that means you are all now part of our Alumni Association. And you're all in payment, you have your dues requirements. So we're going to need to collect a check on the way out. I am incredibly honored to have you all with us today, to the Chief Justice, to the other members of the judiciary that are here, to the members of the law enforcement community, and to just concerned citizens who understand that something must be done. We welcome you to Paul Quinn College. We welcome you to a place that is special. It's special because we understand some basic concepts. Number one, that you have a responsibility in life to just tell the truth, right? Now, that would seem as a slightly odd statement to make because most of us in this room have put our hands on the Bible at some point and sworn to uphold the values and the laws of our country. At least I think it's been a long time since I was sworn into the bar. I think they still do that, right? Do they still, is that still part of, I just want to make sure things haven't changed that much. But my point is that we have an obligation to tell the truth, but we also have an obligation to recognize that sometimes the truth changes based upon our perspective. Justice is a funny thing. Justice for one man can be a tool of tyranny for another. And if we aren't careful and if we don't appreciate the fact that how you view the justice system oftentimes turns on how the justice system views you, as long as that is what we are dealing with, we're going to have challenges. Now, the beauty of it is this: you are here, which means you are willing to confront those challenges. But I would be remiss if I did not tell you, I am president of a college where 85% of my students are Pell Grant eligible, where my students come from the inner cities of this country, where far more members of my student body have a personal and up-close understanding of the justice system as a system that has not worked for them and their families. And that is something that I think we need to own because, look, I grew up in a family where I didn't know anyone who went to jail as a part of my family. I lived across the street from one of the area police chiefs. We had an interesting relationship with the law enforcement in Chicago. And we all know what's going on in Chicago, so I'm not telling you any secrets. It wasn't that way when I grew up there, right? But we are in a time where we need our institutions to work together. We need our judiciary to understand what it's like to be a police officer, to understand the challenges you face on a daily basis. And I can say that I don't think acknowledging that and expressing my appreciation for our police officers makes me inconsistent with expressing the concerns that we have. At Paul Quinn College, we are in what many would term a high crime area. But annually, we have the lowest crime rates on our campus of any college in the area. That's not by accident. That's because we have an extraordinary relationship with our police officers who engage in community policing. They are on our campus not to arrest our students, but to show that we are all in this together. And they're always welcome. And it's created a wonderful relationship. We want that same relationship with the judiciary. You should know our students. Our students should know you. And I've got 3 of them here right now. Will you guys stand up for a second? So the young lady, let's give them a hand. The young lady is Reo Clarkson. She is our Student Government Association president, and she's extraordinary. She just took her LSAT. So yeah, can we give her a hand? So we have great expectations for her scores and what comes next. She's an extraordinary leader. One day she will be where we are, on the other side of the bar. And she needs to understand what that looks like. Next to her is Kevin Lee. He's a junior. Right, thank you for clapping, because we don't want Kevin to think that he has no friends, all right? Kevin is the junior class president and has been extraordinary. He also aspires to be an attorney. So it's important that he sees what that looks like. Next to him is Sherman Redmond. He's also, sorry, Sherman. And Sherman, are you the sophomore class president or the sophomore class president? I wanted to make sure I got that right. I don't want to send him back to his freshman year, right? But Sherman has aspirations, and he's trying to figure out, is he going to be a lawyer? Is he going to be a business mogul? I just want to make sure he gives back to his alma mater, right? I just want to throw that out there. But this is what our students look like. These are their aspirations. You need to know them, and they need to know you, and this is a step towards doing that. So you guys can have a seat. Thank you. So as I take my seat, I just want to encourage us to let down our guards, to be in a place where you can acknowledge and understand that the only way we become everything that we're supposed to be is by listening, is by understanding that none of us have the right answer. But if we work together, all of us can get to a better place. And we are in a time in this country where we need people to be able to listen, to understand, to be able to walk in the shoes of someone else without judging them from your perspective. We have to work together. If not, we will be lost. And we have come too far to be lost now. So to the rest of the individuals that I did not get a chance to recognize, to Harry Myers, who I've been an enormous fan of for years, to the rest of my friends here, to Diane Gibson, who's here somewhere. We've been friends a long time, right? Her grandson is a senior. Can we give him a hand? All right. But to Ms. Pemberton, who is back there, to my good friend Richie Butler, to all of you who are here today, thank you for being here. Thank you for having the courage to confront these issues. And more than anything else, thank you for understanding that momentum starts with a single step. And if we are going to change the way all of us view the justice system, we must first change the way in which we view ourselves. Thank you.
Well, thanks very much for that. Thank you for hosting this. It's been a wonderful facility. You've been very generous with us, and we have a resolution from both courts, which I don't know that we've ever done that. Thanking Paul Quinn College and recognizing them for its contribution to this summit. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Is this our get out of jail free card? Is that, show up, like, no, we're good.
Thank you, President Sorrell, for those inspiring remarks and also for all that you've done to facilitate the summit. At this time, I would like to turn your attention to the screens. We have prepared a video montage, and as President Sorrell said, it's tough to watch, but we must have the courage to confront these issues. So please.
2 days after a New York City grand jury cleared a white police officer in the chokehold death of an unarmed black man, the protests are growing larger and spreading across the country, including Boston and Chicago.
The last words of 43-year-old Eric Garner have become a rallying cry for thousands across the country.
On the streets of Ferguson, Missouri, outrage and anger. No justice! No peace! Protesters of different ages and races demanding answers in the shooting death of 18-year-old Michael Brown at the hands of a policeman.
The guy keeps pulling it out. It's probably fake, but you know what? He's scaring the guy.
A patrol car arrives at the scene, and seconds later...
Shots fired, male down, black male, maybe 20, black revolver, black handgun.
Tamir Rice, who was 12 years old, died later in hospital.
2 New York City police officers are dead following an ambush Saturday afternoon. Police Commissioner William Bratton says officers Wenji and Liu and Rafael Ramos were shot while they sat in their patrol car in Brooklyn. Both sustained gunshot wounds to the head.
Our streets, free streets. Another day of racial unrest on the streets of America, but this time right in the heart of a major city. And it was soon to come. Emotions had been running high for several days in the city since the death of a black man after he'd been detained by police. Mobile phone footage showed 25-year-old Freddie Gray screaming in pain as he was dragged and put in the back of a police van.
Police officers in Baton Rouge answering a call that a man was allegedly waving a gun.
One officer pinning 37-year-old Alton Sterling to the ground while another kneels on his arm. Within seconds, gunfire. Sterling dying there at the scene with gunshot wounds to his chest and back.
Here is the situation according to police officers in Dallas, Texas. According to the police chief there, we have had 11 police officers hit by gunfire. Sadly, 4 of them have died of their wounds.
Overnight, a manhunt intensifying. San Antonio police searching for a suspect they say killed Detective Benjamin Marconi, a 20-year veteran of the force who was sitting in his patrol vehicle just outside police headquarters.
There is no contradiction between us supporting law enforcement and also saying that there are problems across our criminal justice system. There are biases, some conscious and unconscious, that have to be rooted out.
Most importantly, today, on this day, and in the coming days, the primary message is one word, and that is unity. We need to understand that Texas has its own brand of principles that have helped elevate this state to true exceptionalism. Texans need to unite behind those very principles that will continue to elevate Dallas and the state of Texas. One of those principles is respect and reverence for the men and women who wear the uniform. Another is that we, the citizens of this state, need to play our own active role in ensuring safety and security in our communities, as well as justice and prosperity across the state. When we unite together behind those principles, we will ensure the Texas of tomorrow will be even better than the Texas of today.
Each time I see that video, I hear the words a little differently. We're here to listen to one another today, but it is good for me, and I hope it would be good for you for a moment, just to sit quietly and reflect on what you've seen, the images and the words before we continue on.